There's a strange pattern that plays out in love, almost like clockwork. It's that moment after the third or fourth failed relationship where you finally stop and ask yourself, what's wrong with me? Not in a self-loathing way, but in a quiet, exhausted way, like someone who spent too long looking for treasure with the wrong map. And that question, as brutal as it sounds, might be the very beginning of something real. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Most of us don't date with our hearts. We date with our wounds. We date with our fear of abandonment, our need to be chosen, our hunger for validation, our resentment toward a parent who never said I love you in the right way. We date to fill a hole, to patch something up, to fix something that cracked in childhood and never quite healed. And when you haven't looked into those shadows, when you've never stopped to turn around and face what's chasing you, you don't really choose a partner. Your pain chooses for you. Shadow work is the uncomfortable, sometimes terrifying, often liberating process of turning inward before reaching outward. It's what allows us to date, not from desperation, but from depth. Let's explore why healing has to happen before the choosing. Not after, not during, before. Because the love we think we want is often not the love we need. And until we understand the difference, we'll keep repeating the same relationship with different people over and over again. Shadow work isn't just a spiritual buzzword. It's the process of integrating the parts of ourselves we'd rather hide. The shame, the guilt, the fear, the rage, the insecurity, the neediness, the controlling tendencies, the jealousy, the avoidance, the emptiness. It's shining light on the emotional dust we've shoved under the rug. And guess what? Dating is a mirror that reflects all of it back to us. Love will trigger your shadows faster than anything else. That moment when someone doesn't text you back for 4 hours and your mind spirals into they've lost interest. I'm not good enough. They're probably with someone else. That's not just insecurity. That's unprocessed abandonment. That deep discomfort you feel when someone is too nice to you, that's not intuition. That's unfamiliarity with being treated well. That tendency to pull away the minute someone gets close, that's not boundaries. That's fear of intimacy masquerading as independence. And the way we rush into love like it's the last boat off a sinking island, that's not passion, that's panic. Until we face these things, we won't date with clarity. We'll date through our distortions. We'll think we're choosing someone because of chemistry, but really, it's trauma reenactment, a subconscious drive to relive old wounds with the hope that this time they'll end differently. But they don't. Not until we change the script. Shadow work allows us to rewrite that script. It allows us to see that we weren't crazy for craving validation. We were neglected. We weren't too sensitive. We were dismissed. We weren't overreacting. We were reacting to 1,000 tiny moments no one else ever noticed. And once we start to see our past with compassion instead of judgment, we stop looking for people to save us from it. That's when everything shifts. Because dating without shadow work is like walking into a burning house with a blindfold on. You feel the heat, but you don't know where it's coming from. You react to the flames instead of understanding the fire. You start blaming the people inside for the smoke, when really, it's your own match that lit the fuse. So many of us think we just need to find the one, as if love is a finish line or a cure. But no partner can heal wounds they didn't cause. And no relationship can be healthy if it's built on a foundation of avoidance. It's not about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone from a place of wholeness. But here's where it gets tricky. Because shadow work isn't obvious. It doesn't show up as fix me. It shows up as I only like people who don't like me. It shows up as I'm turned off by people who treat me too well. It shows up as I feel like I have to earn love. It shows up as I need to be needed. It shows up as a pattern of choosing emotionally unavailable partners, and then blaming them for the very behavior we once mistook for mystery. See, the shadow is sneaky. It doesn't yell, it whispers, and it disguises itself as attraction, intuition, logic. It tells us we're doing the right thing, that our standards are just high, that we're being strong by pushing people away, that our independence is a virtue even when it's rooted in fear. And sometimes it tells us we're unlovable, so we settle for anyone who's willing to stay. Shadow work requires stillness. It requires solitude. And that's terrifying for people who use relationships as a way to avoid themselves. Because for many, love isn't just love, it's a distraction, a drug, a dopamine hit, a way to feel real. A way to finally silence that voice that says, you're not enough. But silence isn't the same as healing. One hides the wound, the other treats it. This is why people go from relationship to relationship and feel emptier each time. It's why we say things like, all men are trash. or women just want to play games, when really we're just picking from a place of pain. We are trying to build intimacy on top of instability. The truth is, love doesn't begin when we meet someone. It begins when we meet ourselves, fully. In the dark, in the places we don't post about, in the pain we swore we were over. That's where love starts. In the mirror. Not in someone else's eyes. And that mirror doesn't always show us pretty things. It shows us the jealousy we denied, the control we masked as caretaking, the clinginess we defended as loyalty, the need for attention we branded as charisma. It shows us the masks, and shadow work is about taking them off, one by one, even when it stings. Now, if you're wondering why this all sounds exhausting and uncomfortable, it is. Healing isn't cute. Sometimes it's sobbing on your kitchen floor because you realized you've been begging people to love you in the same way your father never did. And no, your therapist doesn't give out trophies when you finally connect the dots. But hey, at least shadow work never ghosted you. See, when you do this inner work, something radical happens. You stop trying to earn love. You realize that love isn't something you win or perform for. You stop auditioning for partners and start showing up as yourself. You stop chasing emotionally unavailable people because your self-worth is no longer tied to being chosen. You start recognizing red flags instead of romanticizing them. And you begin to understand that a relationship should not be a battlefield where you prove you're worthy of love. It should be a garden where two people grow, side by side, rooted in self-awareness. But that's not what we're taught. We're taught to find someone who completes us, as if we're walking around as half people, broken and waiting. And that belief creates so much harm. It keeps us in relationships that deplete us, just because we're afraid of being alone. It convinces us that loneliness is worse than toxicity, that heartbreak is worse than self-betrayal. Shadow work teaches us the opposite. It teaches us that solitude isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's where we become whole, not for someone else, for ourselves. So that when someone does come along, we're not grasping, we're not desperate, we're not molding ourselves into whatever shape they want. We're standing firm, open, clear, and we can walk away if it's not right, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. Here's the thing, love is not scarce, but self-worth can be. And when it is, we trade connection for codependency. We settle for confusion. We interpret chaos as chemistry. We call someone the one just because they made us feel seen, even if they also made us feel small. Shadow work helps you hold both truths, that you deserve deep love and that you must give it to yourself first. It's not about being fully healed. There's no such thing. But it's about knowing what you carry. It's about making peace with your past so you don't bleed on people who didn't cut you. It's about taking responsibility for your patterns, not blaming your exes for the cycles you kept repeating. Because if you're still angry at your last partner, you're probably not ready for the next one. If you're still trying to show them what they lost, you're not over them. If you're dating to prove something, you're still operating from lack. And love cannot grow in a garden of resentment. So pause, breathe, reflect. Ask yourself, am I choosing from love or from fear? From abundance or from emptiness? From clarity or from chaos? Am I ready to be seen fully, or am I still trying to hide? Because the people we attract reflect the state of our inner world. And if your inner world is wounded, you will call in mirrors, not matches. You will think you found the one, when really, you found another chance to heal what's still unhealed. But the good news, healing is always available. It starts the moment you turn inward. The moment you stop asking, why won't they love me, and start asking, why don't I love me? That's when everything begins to shift. That's when you stop chasing and start attracting. That's when you stop settling and start aligning. That's when dating becomes a conscious choice, not a compulsion. So heal before you choose, because the quality of your love life is a reflection of the quality of your inner life. And you deserve a love that feels safe, steady, sacred.